All right, when you hear 6G, what's the first thing that pops into your head? Faster downloads, right? But what if I told you the next generation of wireless is, well, it's way more than just a faster phone. We're talking about a genuine revolution. So let's get into it. We're going to explore how 6G is being designed to give our digital world a brain and maybe even a sixth sense.
Okay, I know exactly what you're thinking. Hang on, 5G just got here. Why are we already talking about 6G? And look, that's a totally fair question. But the thing is, these huge leaps in technology, they don't happen overnight. They're planned like a decade or even more in advance. So the research that's happening right now, that's what's going to shape the world we live in come the 2030s.
And this timeline really drives that point home, doesn't it? You can see the constant evolution from 4G back in the 2010s to 5G, and now we're even getting this thing called 5G Advanced in 2024. So you see, talking about 6G isn't us getting ahead of ourselves, it is exactly on schedule. The goal for it to be out in the world is the early 2030s, but the heavy lifting, the real groundwork, is being done as we speak.
Okay, so what is the big deal with 6G? What makes it so different? Well, the first huge change is this idea of building a network with a brain. And I don't mean just running AI apps on top of it. We are talking about weaving artificial intelligence directly into the core, into the very fabric of the network itself.
And this is the key difference right here. Think about it. With older networks, AI was always an add-on, something that ran on top of the network. But with 6G, the whole script is flipped. AI is the network. It's not an afterthought. It's a fundamental building block. This allows the network to think for itself, to adapt, to optimize, all on its own.
And the industry has a pretty cool name for this. They're calling it the agentic internet era. It sounds a bit fancy, but the idea is actually pretty powerful. Instead of you or me having to tell the network exactly what to do all the time, an agentic network can actually anticipate what we need and act for us. It stops being just a dumb pipe for data and becomes more of a collaborator.
So, what does this AI brain actually do? Well, for starters, it can automatically handle the insane complexity of these future networks. It can juggle all the radio frequencies, the spectrum, to make sure everything is running as efficiently as possible in real time. It can even help engineers design the next version of itself. The bottom line is, we're building a network that can pretty much run itself.
All right, so that's the brain part. Now for what might be the even crazier idea, giving the network senses. This is where 6G goes from being just a communication tool to something else. It's about taking this massive leap from just connecting things to actually sensing and understanding the physical world around us.
I mean, just pause and think about that. What if the very same radio waves that bring Netflix to your phone could also, at the same time, see the world? What if they could create a detailed, high-resolution map of everything in the room? That's not science fiction anymore. That's the core idea behind 6G sensing. Now, the technical name for this is ISAC. That stands for Integrated Sensing and Communication. And all it really means is that sending data and sensing the world aren't two separate jobs anymore. They're two sides of the exact same coin. They use the same gear, the same radio waves to do both things at once. And this image here, it shows it perfectly. On the left, you've got the network using its radio waves to see the physical world. People, cars, whatever's out there. And on the right, it uses all that info to build a digital twin of that world in real time. It's like a perfect mirror of reality, but in digital form, updated constantly. What this means is that basically the entire network becomes one gigantic sensor. Every phone, every cell tower, every connected car, they all become part of it. It's really like we're giving our digital world a digital sixth sense, a true awareness of physical space that it's just never, ever had before.
Okay, so a network with a brain and senses, it sounds incredibly futuristic, right? But what does that mean for us? Like, what can we actually do with it? Let's take a look at some of the real-world applications this whole new setup could unlock.
And honestly, the possibilities are kind of mind-blowing. Imagine this. In transportation, the network itself could guide a drone to land perfectly on the back of a moving vehicle. Or, in your home, you could just wave your hand to control your smart lights. No camera, no remote. You could even use your phone to do a quick security scan on a package that just arrived. This stuff sounds like it's from a movie, but this is exactly what engineers are building towards. Let's zoom in on that intelligent factory idea. With this ISAC technology, a robot could suddenly have centimeter-level or even millimeter-level awareness of everything around it. That means it could do super delicate, precise jobs, like slotting a tiny chip into a complicated circuit board. We're talking about a level of precision that's just ridiculously hard to pull off right now.
So when you boil it all down, it's really a shift in how we think about the network. 5G was all about the Internet of Things, just connecting a gazillion devices. 6G is about the intelligence of everything. It's about taking all those connections and turning them into one giant thinking brain. The network goes from being just a tool we use to a real collaborator that works with us.
Okay, so whenever you have technology this big, this game-changing, it's never just about the tech itself, right? There's always a global angle. And the race to build 6G? Well, it's not just happening in research labs. It's a full-blown tech and geopolitical competition.
We saw this play out with 5G, didn't we? The fight to set the rules, to dominate the market, it gets intense. Because countries know that leading in this kind of tech is absolutely critical for their economy and their national security. And 6G, it's the next big battleground.
And the lines are already being drawn. You've got alliances forming. Just this year, in early 2024, the US and a whole group of its allies, countries like the UK, Japan, Canada, South Korea, and more, they all got together and put out a joint statement. They laid out a shared vision for what 6G should be: open, secure, and resilient.
And at the exact same time, you have China making 6G a massive national priority. It's literally written into their official 5-year plan. And if you look at one key measure, who's filing the most patents related to 6G, well, right now, China has a pretty significant early lead.
But here's what's really fascinating. Even with all this competition, there's still a layer of global cooperation happening underneath. A super important slice of the radio spectrum that 6G will need to work its magic, it's already been set aside and agreed upon by countries that cover more than 80% of the world's population. It just goes to show, even when you're in a race, everybody knows you still need to agree on the basic rules of the road. That foundation is already being built.
So in the end, 6G is so much more than just a list of faster speeds. It's a vision for a future where the line between the digital world and the physical world just blurs, where our network doesn't just connect us, but it actually understands us and the world we live in. The technology to do it, it's coming. The real question is, are we ready for the future it's going to create?